Good morning. Welcome to January 2022. Phew. I guess we're all hoping this pandemic disappears. I guess we're all hoping that 2022 looks a little brighter than 2021, that maybe we could even find groceries on the shelf. Anyways, we're glad you're here. At questions, just ask. Hey, we decided to do this broadcast because I was being asked a lot of questions in ministry. And if one person wants the answer, maybe several other people do. So here we are. So let's just get to the question. That's what you're here for. You're not here for John to entertain you or anything, because I'm not very entertaining. So we're here to answer questions. So I have a very interesting question that really relates to my life, and I'm glad it came at this time. The question is, what are we to do with Jesus' calling? How do you know he is calling us to something specific? That is a great question. In the Bible, Jesus spoke or called people to his service by angels, dreams, fingers writing on the wall, and such. A lot of angels were involved. The whole book of Revelation was given by an angel. The whole announcement to Mary was given by angels. We see a lot of the prophets spoke to angels. It'd be easy to say, hey, an angel came and talked to me, I'm going to do that. That'd be easy to do. But we don't necessarily see angels anymore. I'm not going to say God can't speak through an angel anymore. But he probably doesn't use angels. I don't think he uses dreams either. I get a lot of people to ask me about dreams. Oh, might be the number 2 question I get asked behind, are we in the last days and is Jesus coming back? But we have the Bible. When Jesus was, after the dreams and the angels to the prophets and to those in the Old Testament, then Jesus appears and Jesus walks on the earth, and he actually told the disciples, drop your nets, follow me, and I'll make you fishers of men. Again, easy to do when it's the person Jesus. But now we're in let's just call it the post-Jesus era of Christianity. Jesus is present in spirit form. We can't touch him, smell him, see him. Of course, I still can't smell anything since I got COVID back in September. I'm not sure it's going to come back, but that's beside the point. So with the presence of Jesus, and you got to see him do miracles, heal people, feed 5,000 from 5 loaves and 3 fish. It's easy to believe when you can see, but what about now? What about his callings? How do you know he's even called you? With the advent of the Bible, that's why I don't think he needs angels to speak to us anymore, or dreams. We have the Bible, and he says that it is sufficient. He uses his words instead of, and maybe an internal whisper in our soul, and he uses people, but more than likely he uses people, events, and various happenings to affirm his callings. For my own life, it's people and events that surround the various callings that I've had. What am I aware of is he often confirms his callings. Well, how does he do that? Well, let me explain to it from my own life. Let me bring it down to the practicality. Let's see. I was working in the automotive repair industry. My family ran a business. I ran the business for 15 years. And our church lost its youth director, so I had the great freedom in running the business, so I said I would do it as a volunteer. Well, it was awesome. God confirmed it by providing growth spiritually and numbers wise. It was an awesome experience. And then I stepped back from that after they got a youth director, and I then went and started a college ministry there. And man, that thing took off. We used to meet at my house. We had to stop meeting at my house. We had to go to YMCA. I had too many people in the house. Again, that's confirmation of a calling. Well, then they lost their youth director again, and it came to time. Okay, do I stay in the automotive industry, do this as a volunteer, or do I go into ministry? Well, how do I know the calling? Well, I'll tell you what happened. I went to my dad and said, Dad, we need to sell the business. He said, why? I said, I want to go into ministry. I feel the calling to go into ministry. And he said, well, John, we kind of knew that as a family 4 years ago. What took you so long? Again, confirmation. Dad was ready to sell the business. He had no problems with it. See, when doors are open, you walk through and things happen. Well, so then I worked at Chapelgate Presbyterian Church in Marysville, Maryland for 5 years. And then really felt the call to do ministry outside the church normal ministry. To reach people the church tends to miss is my motto. To do ministry kind of out of bounds. So had an opportunity, somebody invited me to make some mission plans and come to South Carolina. Well, I tell you, on one hand, it might have been, as a human, one of the biggest, stupidest decisions I made, to leave a good job and a good church with good people, family around, and people I knew, and come down to South Carolina not knowing a soul. So I came down here and started what we called Grip Ministries at the time. It fell flat on its face. 6 months in, we were ready to go home. But let me tell you what happened. We were in Del Vecchio's restaurant. And I had just asked my wife, who was crying at the table. I mean, she was weeping. Things were not going well. I said, do you want to go back to Maryland? I think we can get our jobs back. The church hadn't filled them yet. And before she could get that answer out, the waitress came up and said, hi, my name's Ursula. What's your name? What you doing here? And Janice said, where are you from? So Janice said, so we are from Maryland, Baltimore, Maryland. And she goes, I'm here working at Barnes & Noble. And I said, yeah, and my name's John, and I'm an ordained minister. I'm here to reach people the church tends to miss. She goes, I'm one of those people. She asked the waitresses to cover her tables, and she sat down and talked to us for about 45 minutes about how she wanted to get married to her boyfriend. They were living together. She couldn't find anybody that would marry him. How she had a child. She wanted her to be baptized. She couldn't find anybody that would baptize him. And she's I can't seem to get the church to respond to me. She goes, will you marry me? I said, whoa, slow down. I said, I'd like to meet your boyfriend. His name's Brian. We developed a friendship. Then eventually I married him on the beach. One of the craziest beach weddings I've ever experienced. We're still friends to this day. Ursula and Brian. So we got up from there and we were leaving Del Vecchio's. I said, Janice, I never got your answer. She goes, don't ever ask me that question again. That we just got confirmed we were to stay here. Well, shortly thereafter, I attended Grace Coastal Church. Janice and I were looking for a local church, and we had been going to different churches and putting our names on their cards. Say, hey, have the pastor call me. You know, after 8 churches, not a single pastor called me. No follow-up calls, nothing. But a Reverend Bob Bates, who was at Grace Coastal Church at the time, he called me the next day. We met for lunch at Moe's down on 278, and after telling him what I was here to do, which was to basically do mercy ministry and to find ways to get people to serve people so we could share the good news of Jesus Christ, he goes, well, how about bringing your ministry plan and running it through Grace Coastal Church? What? Yeah, we'll hire you. She says, I can only hire you part-time right now, but maybe in a year we'll hire you full-time. Well, that met the need. I was actually hired full-time 6 months later. And we had 5 glorious years of ministry together. I couldn't have scripted that. I wasn't looking for a pastor to underwrite us. I wasn't asking for a pastor. I just wanted to tell him what we were here to do. Well, let's fast forward to now, 2021. Well, it's 2022, but just last month, Grace Coastal Church informed me that due to the conditions of the pandemic, making it financially struggling, and also some changes in ministry, they were going to have to diminish my role, move me to part-time, just how I started. But the elders came to me and said, would you be willing to start a new ministry doing what you came here to do? After a lot of prayer, consideration, and with fear and trepidation. Listen, fear and trepidation goes with calling. We're human. We have fears. We have doubts. I answered, said, yes, I'd do it. We started Hope for the Community. just last month. And listen, there's still a lot of things that have to take place. This is a ground level ministry. And what is it? It's the same thing, to reach people the church tends to miss, to do ministry out of bounds, to find a need and fill it. And two things I'm working on right this very minute is um, creating a Greater Bluffton Community Chaplain Network, where we will bring in, train, and certify chaplains, male and female. They don't have to be ordained ministers, to serve in their communities, just right there to their neighbors. And then also, really something I've been working on for 15 years and haven't been able to get off the ground. I'm doing some research right now, putting the foundational work together on a single parent mentorship ministry, where instead of having a church underwrite a ministry, we go to churches and ask for people who would like to, husband and wife, to mentor single parents. So a church doesn't have to invest other than a couple people who want to care for single parents. Everybody I'm sharing this with is excited. Also want to work with solo pastors, helping them get mercy ministry going out of their church. Solo pastors can't afford to hire an employee, but could contract with me to come in and dream with them, plan, and get their people moving outward into the community. This week alone, I came off of the Christmas week in a little bit of a funk, going, oh man, we didn't raise the money I needed to raise. What am I going to do? I met two men this week who want to support everything we're doing. I also just this morning met an old acquaintance who said, John, who has experience in the financial background, says, I'm looking for something to do. How can I help you? Listen, I didn't recruit these people. I didn't send them letters in the mail. I didn't do that. God has a way. When he is in the calling, he will affirm it. If he doesn't affirm it, you then have to question, what do you want me to do? That's how it works. He opens doors. We just have to have the heart that isn't willing to try to walk through a closed door and willing to walk through an open door. Did I get that right? We got to be willing not to try to pry open a shut door. Listen, the door was shutting at Grace Coastal Church. As a human, I didn't like it too much. I was thinking I'd serve 5 more years there and just retire. Become a bum. But no, that's not what God wanted. God brought me back to what I came down here for. To get out in the community. To get out from behind a desk in a church and reach people for Christ. And not just me reach people, but train people to do so. To take my experiences in education, to take my experiences in business world, to take my experiences as a minister, to take definitely my experiences as a chaplain, put them all into a bowl, and then bring that wisdom and knowledge to other people, training them, getting them to go out, and helping them, walking with them along the way. At the same time, not forgetting the personal ministry that I love to do, counseling. God's called me back to that, and he has affirmed it every which way but loose. And listen, let me just say this as I close this session. If you want to be a part of Hope for the Community, maybe you want to be a financial partner, maybe you want to be a mentor, maybe you want to be a chaplain, community chaplain. Maybe you want to say, John, I just want to know more about what you're doing. I want to know how I can help you. How can I be a part of this? I'm going to need a lot of people in the land. Send me an email. You just see it on your screen here, john@hopelowcountry.org. And let's sit down and talk about it. Let's see if we can get together and do ministry together. Because let me tell you, I'm not saying this because I'm trying to coax you or anything or fool you, manipulate you. I really sense God moving in this endeavor. So much more than when I came down here to the Low Country 16 years ago to do this ministry. But I need partners. I do need financial partners. I do need ministry partners. Eventually I need a team of people who will be my trainers. That's what I'm going to need. And I want you to be a part of it. So if you have a calling, first of all, pray for a calling. Second of all, you say get a sense of calling, look for affirmation, look for the open door, and don't try to go through those closed doors. And go to the people that are your core people And everybody should have a core, I believe, in ministry, just like the disciples had the other 11 disciples. And then submit it to the Lord, and then let's see what happens. That's answering a call. I do believe that every Christian has a calling. Now, they're going to look different. Some of them are going to be frontline people like me. Other people are going to be behind the scenes. That's the dishwashers. And the Apostle Paul said that every one of those is important. So don't diminish your calling. Maybe you are just a financial partner. But you'd be more than a financial partner. You need to be a prayer partner. We need to pray. So consider these things of answering Jesus' call. Don't be looking for angels. Don't be looking for dreams. Don't be looking for smoke and mirrors. Be looking for actual people and events to happen in your life that you can't help but say, "Oh Lord," like Isaiah, send me. I'm excited about what's coming. I hope you are too. Hey, well, thanks for asking that question. It came at a really good time. I didn't make that question up. It came to me. Next week, we're looking at quite a lengthy question. It says this: how do I know for sure that I have been saved? Great question. Doesn't the Bible say that there will be some that say that they did things in the name of Jesus, but Jesus will answer, "I never knew you"? Great question. It also refers to the scariest verses in the Bible, in my opinion. Look forward to answering this next week. Join us next Friday for questions. Just ask.